guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to do a tag video, and it's been a long time since I've done a tag video, but this is the end of the year book tag, and I think I try and do this every year. Who knows if I have in the past, but the original video will be down in the description, and it's only 6 questions. It's gonna be an easy, breezy, beautiful book tag. So let's just hop into it. Question number 1 is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? Yes. The only book that's coming to mind is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is a book that I wanted to read this year anyway, and honestly the only reason that I started it but didn't finish it was because my library hold got returned before I was done with it. So I'm like a third of the way into this. This is a chunky boy, so it's a feat and a half to read this book, but I have been wanting to read it so badly, and I was loving what I was reading, and then it very rudely just returned itself to the library, and I got bumped really far down on the hold list. But it's coming back around, so I think I can finally get to this. Hopefully by the time you guys are even seeing this video, I might already be back into it. Who knows? Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? And yes, I absolutely do. I've already talked about this in a couple videos, like a vlog and whatnot. I feel like this is a really good transition book to take me from like spooky Halloween fall vibes into late cold, blustery day vibes, and that is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I reread this every single year on November 1st because the race takes place on November 1st, and it's kind of the only book that I can think of that really takes place in November other than Come November. I do remember reading that a while ago, but this just gives me all of like the nostalgic, cold, blustery barn days that I live for at the end of the year. So this doesn't quite jump me into like cozy Christmas vibes, but it gives me like end of the fall vibes. This is like the perfect book. I read it every year on November 1st. Question 3 is there a new release that you're still waiting for? And yes, as I'm filming this, I haven't received my copy yet, but I believe it actually released today. I might be wrong about that, but that is Forever Wild by K.A. Tucker. This is like kind of a holiday novella for the Simple Wild world, and I believe this is the last anything that's gonna come out in Kella and Jonah's world, and I am sad and not ready to let them go, but also so in the mood for this type of book. So I think I have the ebook downloaded, but I also ordered the physical paperback version, and I'm waiting for that to get here, and I'm so excited. The next question is, what are 3 books that you want to read before the end of the year? Excluding that one, I'm going to talk about 3 more books, I guess. I have the 3rd Bromance Book Club book that I am desperate to get to. This is this year's release, and I adore this series by Lyssa Kay Adams, so this one just came out, so I want to get to this, along with Ready Player 2, which I'm so excited but equally as nervous for because Armada was... We won't talk about Armada, it was bad, and I'm not sure how I feel about this coming out because Ready Player 1 was perfection on its own, did not need to continue on, but I loved it enough that I bought the Waterstone signed fancy edition, so I want to read this. And I also really want to get to The Patron Saint of Pregnant Girls. That's a book that I talked about in, I think, one of my anticipated releases videos, like way back at the beginning of the year. And it's one that I really think I'm gonna love, so I do want to get to it this year. Which leads me into the next question, which is, are there any books that you think could potentially still become a favorite of the year? Or something like that. It's worded somewhere along there. And I think that one could be up there. I know it's gotten good reviews, I haven't heard too much about it, but I feel like it's just gonna be the perfect, like, really heavy, emotional circus vibes, historical, heavy, trigger warning type of book that I am just going to devour and love. So potentially that one. Also potentially The Secret History, but I was going for new releases with that question. And the last question is, have you started making any reading plans for next year, 2021? Broad answer, no, not really, because we're still surviving 2020. But in theory, I probably will set my Goodreads goal at 200 books again because that's what I'm doing this year and it's somewhat attainable for me. It was a stretch this year, but I think I'm still gonna be able to do it, and I might do it next year as well. I don't know, I might bump it down to 150 to like take the pressure off. I don't know. Generally, somewhere between 150 and 200 books is what I read every year. Probably the same type of goals that I made for my goal list for this year that I somewhat attained, but also 2020 happened, so everything was kind of excused. But I would like to read a couple more classics next year, and I did that this year. I'd kind of like to tackle a couple more intimidating books that are on my TBR. This year I did a few. Next year I can do a few. I think those are all attainable things, but I don't have any like concrete lists made yet. just reading books. Reading books, having a good time, living my life. And that is it for the end of the yearbook tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll put the questions in the description if you guys would so desire to do this tag yourself, and I will see you guys in my next video.